Hi, and welcome to my channel. Today's topic is placement for your chatbots. In previous two videos, I've shown you how to add your chatbots to your website and how to style them. In today's video, we're going to look at how to place your chatbots on your portal or your website so that it looks good. So let's take a look. As you saw in the previous video, we had added the bot on our portal and we had styled it differently. You don't want your bot to appear in middle of your screen. Also, you don't want it to even appear on like left section or right section and occupy majority of the section of your screen. You want your bot to be hidden somewhere and then only invoke when the user wants to invoke the bot, because you want to focus users' attention on the content of your website and not just on the bot, right? Bot is a nice feature, but you want users to go to the product sections or compare products and do other stuff other than just talk to bot, right? Bot is just to help users do or provide them information whenever they are looking for. So let's see what we are trying to build here. As you can see, we have added a button called chat, and the initial state of the chat window is hidden. Now, what we want is on the button click, the chat conversation should show up, and on the same button click, it should get hidden. So if I click on this button, I can see my chat window opens up. I can type in my message and I can have the conversation with bot, right? So I can go through the process, but then let's say I want to navigate away, or I wanna scroll down somewhere and see some information because that is the information that is relevant to what bot provided me. So I'm gonna close it and then I'm gonna scroll down. I'm gonna read through the description and then maybe come back to the bot and the conversation is still preserved. So that's how you would preserve your conversations. And also there's a conversation ID in the backend, which also lets you preserve the conversations, right? So basically this is what we're going to try to build today is we are going to add a button, and that button is going to show and hide the bot. Okay, so that we're not occupying or we're not showing the chat bot all the time on your portal or on your website, and it's always hidden as default, and then whenever user wants, they can invoke the conversation with the chatbot. Now you can design this button however you want to. I just kept it plain and simple, and with a very big button so that it's prominent, but frankly I don't like the styling, and I didn't spend much time styling it. You can have a small button over here on the corner which can pop up the entire chatbot. Okay, so going back to the portal, I'm going to add my button on top of this chat pop-up class div tag, and there is my button. So this button is actually clicking a function. It's invoking a function called open chat on click, and I've also provided a role over here and some class. Okay, this class is to again enhance the UI, and I'm not providing any inline styling, but I'm all handling that through my CSS class. Okay, so let's go and save this, and let's go and refresh over here. Let's see what comes up. So there's my button over here called chat, but it doesn't look pretty because I've not provided the styling. So let's go and provide some styling. So again, going back to my code and copy pasting the button style, copy that. And go to my CSS class, which is main.css, and then I'm going to just paste it over here. So this is my button properties where I'm providing some background color, I'm providing some padding, border, cursors, and all those nice fancy stuff. And I'm going to save it. And let's go and refresh it. And there you go. So there appears my button. Okay, it's well on the left side, it's hidden, it's not in the way. If you scroll it, it always sticks, right? So it doesn't move, or it's not uh, stationary. It's relative, right? So my button looks good, but my pot doesn't look good. I don't like the placement where my pot is, right? So let's make sure we are fixing that. I may have not placed it correctly. Okay, so while looking at the code, as you can see, we have the div tag here, but this particular div tag for the chat window should have been outside the container. The reason why it would have been outside the container is because container is regarded as a row, right? So we are adding this in the row, but this particular div tag is the entire row over here. So this div tag section blockout is the entire section over here. So what we wanted is we wanted this section to be in two parts. One would be this particular part, which is called the box, and the other one would be this particular part. But what happened is because we added this container and the code inside the container, this all things became one row. So that's why it's not looking neat. So let's just move this out of the container. So this is the container over here. So let me just collapse that so it's easier. And let's save it now. Okay, so now it's saving and it's saved. So let's go and refresh our page. And there you go. Awesome. So now our portal looks good. The chat window looks good. It's exactly where we wanted, and the button looks good, right? Uh, Now, what we want is we want the chat window to be hidden by default, and then when you click on this chat, then it should show up. And then the same button, if you click, then it should get hidden. So it's like a toggle button that we are trying to create here. So to do that, we'll have to go back to the code, and and then we have added this class called as chat popup. So we're going to use that to add some styling so that the initial or the default state of that particular pop-up is always hidden, right? So we're going to go to the styling. So go to main.css and let's add this. So the pop chat is by default, it is hidden. We're going to save it. Okay, so let's go and refresh our portal. And I think so it's not refreshed yet. There you go. So now it got refreshed, and as you can see, I don't see the chat window anymore because by default it's hidden. But we haven't written the code on the button click to show and hide the chat window. So this button basically won't work right now. So to do that, we have to go back to our page and open source code editor. Now, let's go and add the code for OpenChat. Okay, so I already have written the code for OpenChat, and again, the snippet would be provided in the video description. I'm just gonna go and add that snippet over here. So it's pretty simple. What I'm doing is on the OpenChat, I'm checking that particular element called as chat window and checking what is the state of that particular chat window div. And if it is none, then I'm showing it and I'm changing the button's inner HTML to close. And then if it is hidden, then I am changing the inner HTML to chat, right? So it's just toggling the display, and it's pretty simple. But now I'm looking for this particular chat window ID on an element. And if we go up here, I don't have an ID. Now again, as I mentioned previously, uh, IDs were getting removed and I was losing them, right? So to make sure that the IDs are always maintained on certain div tags, I have to add a role on this div tag. So the role that I'm gonna say here, provide here is gonna be open chat. It could be any role. You can just come up with words for the roles, and the main thing is when you use this query selector all to look for the role and then set the attribute, that's when it's important to specify what that role would be. So in my case, I'm just providing open chat. I already have provided role for the button and I've already provided role for the main tag. So here I've already written the code for the main where I'm providing the ID as web chat. So I'm just gonna copy it. And I need two, right? I need one for open chat button. So I need ID for open chat button and I also need ID for open chat. So the ID that I'm going to provide for my open chat is going to be chat window. And for open chat button, the ID that I'm going to provide is open chat button. And these are the IDs that I would be looking when setting the display or inner HTML. So for open chat, I've provided the ID as chat window. So if I scroll down here, you can see that I'm looking for ID element with ID of chat window, and accordingly I'm taking decision whether to show or hide it. And same, I'm looking for an element with ID chat button to change the inner HTML, and that is what I'm providing over here. So uh, open chat button, but I'm actually looking for chat button. Yep. So I wanna remove this open from here, and that's it. So chat window and chat button is what would be the IDs. Okay. So now let's go and save it. Okay. So let's refresh a portal and let's see if the button that was previously not working is working now. If I click on chat, and there you go, I can see my chat window open. If I and the inner HTML changed from chat to close. If I click again, it changes back to chat, and the chat window closes. And that's how I created my toggle button. And that's all about chatbots. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions, then leave a comment below.